Shalom, Yahweh Shemin Shabar Katham, Priest and Officer 1000 Zabaja of the I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General YAHANNA, started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we teach that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites of the Bible, and we are opening our Sabbath service for Toronto and Montreal. Shaywan.
Officer Shaywan, Ban Banyamyan, Ban Yasharala.
Officer Shaywan, Ban Banyamyan, Ban Yasharala.
Yahweh Shemir.
Yahweh Shemin Shabar Katham. Podium. Right hand, left hand, turn to the camera. Salute. First, La Yasharala.
La Yasharala.
Which means to Israel. Men of Israel, Akwathiam, I'm Majim, which means to stand. Sarapanya, Hakutam, which means turn and face the east. Coffee. I need this coffee. Oui. Coffee and then the strong. Slovakia. All right. This, we're gonna go live. We are also live on the TikTok. We're also live on TikTok. I'm going to do the prayers in Hebrew and then we're going to read the English. We're going to start with the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayam, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak Vavka, Sabbath,
Ratazaka.
Hayah,
Aisha,
Ba'aratazah,
Kawa,
Hayah, Bashamayam, Lathan Lanawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kabwath Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabwath Yanawa, Wala'ah, Thabaya Anawa, Manasah Yawan, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Rad, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wahala, Waha Thaparath, I will Aman.
In English, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever so be it. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim. Al-Damayah Lakah. Al-Thakarash.
Wa'al-Thashakwat. Kaya.
Anna.
Al-Yabyaka. Yahamayawan. Wama Shana Yaka. Nasha'awa. Ra'ash. Al-Amakawa. Ya'ariyam. Wa. Sawad. Wiyah. Thiyah Aitazawa. Al-Tazapawan. Yaka. Amarwa. Lakawa. Unak Yadam. Magaya. Wala'at. Yazakar. Sham Yasha'ala. Wad. Yaka. Wa Aitazawa. La. Yakadwa. Al-Yaka. Marya. Yakarafu. Ahalya. Adawam. Wayashemai Alayam. Mawa'aba. Wahagaryam. Gabal. Wa'amawan. Wa'amalak. Palash. I'm Yeshabia. Tazawar. Gamashawar. Malawat.
Nalawa,
Imam,
Imam,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Zarawai,
Zarawai,
Labanya Lawa,
Labanya Lawa,
Salah,
Salah,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Laham,
Laham,
Kamadyan,
Kamadian,
Ka Saya Sara'ah,
Kasaya Sara'ah,
Kayabwan,
Kayabian,
Bonakal,
Manakal,
Salakia, Kuyashwan,
Koyashwan,
Nashmad Wa,
Nashamadwa,
Bayan,
Bayan,
Dara,
Dara,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Daman,
Daman,
La'adama,
Ladama,
Shathamwa,
Shayathamwa,
Nada Yab Mawa,
Dayab Mawa,
Kairad,
Kaira,
Wakazaba,
Wakazaba,
Wakazabak,
Wakazabak,
Waka,
Waka,
Tazal Manai,
Tazal Manai,
Ka,
Kal,
Nasakayam,
Nasaya Kamwa,
Ashar,
Shar,
Amarwa,
Marwa,
Nayar, Salakia, Nayar Ra'ash,
Ya Ra'ash,
Lanawa,
Manwa,
Af, Nawath,
Nawath,
Alahayam,
Alahayim,
Alahayam,
Alahayim,
Shayathamwa,
Shayathamwa,
Galga,
Kugalgala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapanya Raka,
Lapanya Raka,
Ka'at,
Ka'ash,
Taba'ira,
Tabaira,
Ya'ira,
Ya'ira,
Wakala Haba,
Kalaba,
Salakia, Salahat,
Salahat,
Haryam,
Arya,
Khan,
Khan,
Tharadatma,
Taradatma,
Basai Iraka,
Basa Iraka,
Waba,
Ba,
Sopafka,
Salpathka,
Thabala, Salakia, Thabala, Thabahalam,
Thabahalam,
Ma'ala,
Mala'a,
Panyaham,
Panyaham,
Kwalawan,
Kwalawan,
Wayak, Bakwashwa,
Wayabakwashwa,
Shimka,
Shimka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
Yawa,
Waya,
Salakia, Waya,
Waya,
Bahawa, Bahawa,
Wahawa,
Ayai,
Ayai,
Waya Kaparwa,
Waya Kaparwa,
Waya Abadwa,
Waya Abadwa,
Waya Adawa,
Waya Da'aiwa,
Waya
Kaya, Tha,
Shimka Yahawa,
Shamka Yahawa,
Labadka,
Labadka,
Al Yawan,
Ayawan,
Al Kal,
Al-Kal,
Rataza.
Rataza. What we said in English, keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
Be not still, O God.
Be not still, O God.
For
lo,
thine enemies make a tumult.
Thine enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
You consulted against thy hidden ones.
You consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
Come,
and let us cut them off from being a nation.
And let us cut them off from being a nation.
That the name may be no more in remembrance.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against
the tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
Of Moab.
Moab.
And the Hagarenes.
And the Hagarenes.
Of Baal. And Ammon.
And
Amalek.
And Amalek.
The Philistines.
The Philistines.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur also is joined with them.
Ashur also is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera.
As to Sisera.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
At the brook of Kison.
At the brook of Kison.
Which perished at Endor.
Which perished at Endor.
And became as dung for the earth.
And became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
And like Zeb.
And like Zeb.
Yea. All their princes as Zabah.
All their princes as Zabah.
And as Zalmunna.
And as Zalmunna.
Who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession.
Let's take to ourselves the houses of God in possession.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the fire burneth the wood.
As the fire burneth the wood.
And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest.
So persecute them with thy tempest.
Make them afraid with thy storm.
Make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
Lord.
O Lord.
Let them be confounded and troubled forever.
Let them be confounded and troubled forever.
Yea. Let them be put to shame and perish.
Let them be put to shame and perish.
That men may know that thou.
That men may know that thou.
Whose name alone is Yahweh.
Whose name alone is Yahweh.
Art the most high over all the earth.
Art the most high over all the earth. Psalms 121. Asha'ah. Ayanya. Ahaharya. Mayan. Yaba'ah. Isaiah. Ma'an. Yahweh. Aisha. Shamayam. Waratiza, Lamawat, Galka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yayasha, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahawah, Shamarka, Yahawah, Tazalka, Al-Yad, Yamyanka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'a, Yakaka, Wayrak, Balayala, Yahawah, Yashamarka, Makalrai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahawah, Yashamar, Taza'afka, Waba, Wa'afka, Ma'aifa, Wa'ai, Iwalam.
What we said in English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up my eyes unto the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the Lord.
My help cometh from the Lord,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and
He will
earth.
not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
He that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The Lord is thy shade upon thy right
The sun
hand.
shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by
nor
day,
the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil.
The Lord shall preserve thee from all
He shall
evil.
preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy
The
soul.
Lord shall preserve thy going out
Thy Lord shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming
From
in.
this time forth,
This time forth,
even forevermore.
even forevermore. Bless Israel. Yahawah,
Yahweh,
Ba'asham,
Shem,
Yahushai,
Yahushua,
Barak Nawa,
Barak
Yasha'ala,
Yasha'ala,
Wabayah,
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 Sapariam,
Sapari,
Ba'asham,
Bashar,
Yahushai,
Yahushua,
Shawada Aman.
What we said in English, Lord, in the name of Yahweh,
Lord, in the name of Yahushai,
bless us and Israel
and Israel
and the school.
and the school,
In the name of
in the
Yahweh,
name of Yahushai,
so be it.
thank you, so be it. The pure power, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'asham,
Bashar,
Yahushai, Barakashah,
Shah,
Son Lanawa, Hakak, Barapa'ah, Kamakala,
Call Makala,
Kal Madawa,
call Madawa,
Hakak, Matahar,
Tahar,
Hamatazariah,
Hamatazariah,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Laha Kwayam,
Lahakwayam,
Hamathayam,
Mathayam,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Arakawa,
Arakawa,
Hatama Garshan,
Garsha,
Yahushai, Aman.
in English. Lord, in the name of Yahushua,
Lord, in the name of
please
Yahushua,
give us the power,
please give us the
power to heal all manner of sickness,
power to heal all manner of
all
sickness,
manner of disease,
all manner of
the
disease,
power to cleanse the lepers,
power to cleanse the
the
lepers,
power to raise the dead,
the power to raise the
the
dead,
power against unclean
the power
spirits,
against unclean
to cast
spirits,
them out.
cast them
In
out.
the name of Yahushua,
In the name of Yahushua,
thank you, so be it.
thank you, so be it. Prayer for power structure. Barakatha Yahweh,
Barakatha Yahweh,
Wa Yahushua,
Wa Yahushua,
Wa Makayala,
Wa Mayakala,
Wa Alahaya,
Wa Mahaya,
Matazayab, Matazabia,
Matazabia,
Alawap Yahana,
Alawakya,
Alawap, Hasaranya,
Hasrani,
Akwatazanyanya,
Alquataziganya,
Hakayal Yalyam,
Akaya,
Hakwatya,
Akwatya,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashana,
Hashem,
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
Shawada Aman.
What What we said in English. Bless you, Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh,
and Yahushua,
and Yahushua,
and Michael,
and Michael,
and the angels,
and the angels,
commanding General Yahanna,
commanding General Yahanna,
the generals,
the generals,
the
captains,
the officers,
the officers,
troopers,
and
the sisters.
the sisters.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua,
Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua,
thank you, so be it.
thank you, so be it. Akiem Aquathia, Sar, which means tuning, you may be seated. Hey, we got another Sabbath service going out. You know what it is? It's Saturday. We're gonna rock out. So Akia, we'll be rocking out. I'm gonna have Officer Sharyuan. We're gonna be reading Genesis 44 and breaking down the brothers who went to go visit their brother in Egypt unknowingly after they sold him. This is a good lesson in forgiveness and brotherhood. Listen, a lot of y'all need to learn how to forgive because you want the Lord to forgive you. Y'all want Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to forgive each other, right? But you don't have forgiveness in your heart, right? Listen, our oppressors is always begging for forgiveness, but they've never done anything for our forgiveness. Never done anything to. The question would be, what have you done to make us love you? You know, Martin Luther King, they just happened. He had a one good thing, which was the boycott, the bus boycott. But aside from that, he ushered us into a burning house. He said it himself. He said the dream that he had turned into a nightmare. Good night. A dream turns into a nightmare. A nightmare is not a good thing. Oh, this went cold fast. Mary asks, what if the Israelite hurt you? Well, you should forgive your brother or your sister, whoever hurt you. How you get that forgiveness is by going to counsel. You want forgiveness? Well, take that person to counsel. You want to learn how to forgive them? Take that person to counsel. That's how you learn how to forgive, right? I hope that answers your question. Again, if you don't know how to forgive your brother and sister, how could you ask the Lord to forgive you for all your nasty sins? Some of you Christians say, the Lord knows my heart. He does. You're a dirty sinner. I mean, you continuously sin. Paco, good night. Paco, you got issues. You should go get counsel. But I'm going to leave you in the chat. Usually my trigger finger is fast and I block guys. But I'm going to leave you, Paco. All right. So, Shayuan, can you read the first 7 verses of Genesis 44?
Okay. So Genesis chapter 44 and verse 1. Wayatazawa, Ashar, Mayathawa, Lamar, Malaa, Amathaka, Ha'ana, Shiyam, Mal, Mashar, Yawam, Lawana. Verse 2, selected. Sha'ah, Washayam, Nasapa, Ayash, Bapaya, Amath, Kathawa. Verse 2, Wa'ath, Gabad, Ya'aya, Gabad, Ya'ai, Hamasapa, Hashyam, Lapaya, Amath, Kath, Aqua, Tanah, Wa'ath, Masaf, Shabbat, Rawa, Wa'ya'aish, Madabar, Yawa, Sapa, Ashar, Dabar, 3, Habakwar, Awara, Waha'am, Shiyam, Malakawa, Amma, Waka, Mara, Yaham, verse 4, Yatazawa, Ayar, La'a, Mara, Kuyab, Wawa, Wayawa, Sapa, Amar, La Shar, Al, Bayathaw, Wawam, Radat, Akar, Raya, Ha'an, Nausha, Yama, Waha, Shagath, Wa, Hashad, Thumb, Wa'amara, Tha, Alham, Lamar, Shalom, Thumb, Ra'ai, Thakath, Hawabah, verse 5, Allah Wa'ah, Za, Ashar, Yashath, Ha. Adanya. Bawa. Hawa. Nakash. Yankash. Bawa. Hara. Itham. Ashar. Aish Yatham. Verse 6. Waya Shagam. Waya Dabar. Alaham. Ah. Hadarayam. Ha Allah. Verse 7. Waya. Waya Amar. Slaki. Waya Amarwa. Alayawa. Lamar. Yadabar. Adanya. Madabar. Madabaria. Ha Allah. Kalayala. La'ai Badai. Yama. Ma'aishwath. Madabar. Haya. That's the end of verse 7.
God, no sweat. All right, I'm going to read verse 1 to 7 in the English, and I'm going to break it down for you. Right? So again, this is a story of brotherhood. This is a story of men who trespassed against their brother because the things he was saying led them to jealousy. Right now, it's no excuse for the trespass that they did to him. Again, it's no excuse. There's never an excuse to trespass against your brother. There's never an excuse to cause harm to your brother or to be jealous of your brother, right? So we're going to break it down, and we're going to show you that this man, though they trespassed against him, and he had every right to hate them, and he chose to show them brotherhood, right? And this is something the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community could learn for itself, right? You don't want to be like your heathens. The heathens they don't have brotherhood. They don't have Salakia. They don't have a conscience where it's to say, you trespass against me, I'm not going to hurt you. You trespass against a heathen and they'll drop a nuclear bomb on your city, even though you're in war, right? So where are we? This is Genesis 44, verse 1. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, fulfill the men's sacks with food as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. All right, so this is the second time that Joseph's brothers, Joseph is now the steward. He is the, Salakia, what's that word? He's basically the second in command in Egypt, right? He was sold into slavery by his brothers. They trespassed against him. He's the second in command. Because he had prophecies and the Lord was with him, he was able to foresee the famine, and that's how he got out of jail when Pharaoh was having bad dreams and didn't know what was happening, right? Pharaoh needed to go to a man of the Lord. That's what you should always do. Go to a man of the Lord, right? So Joseph seen his brothers. He sent them away with food and told them to come back, holding one of his brothers in jail. Now he's sending them away with food again, and he filled their sacks with their food and gave them back their money. Verse 2, and put my silver cup in the sack mouth of the youngest. So Joseph told them, because these brothers didn't know when to shut their mouth, right? That's another thing you could learn, when to shut your mouth, when not to say too much, right? Because they were acting like they were just men, even though at this time these brothers were not just, because they trespassed against their brother. They spoke about their father and their youngest brother, who stayed back with their father on their journey, right? Lest peradventure he was hurt. And the father didn't want that. Joseph told them to get their brother. This time he's telling the men who are under him to put his silver cup in the youngest brother's sack. Right? Where are we? We're still in verse 2. And he did according to the words that Joseph had spoken. Verse 3, as soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, and they had, Salakia, were sent away, they and their asses. So the men, their donkeys were packed up with the food to bring back to the land of Canaan where their father was, right? This is not saying they're Canaanites, but they are from Shem, right? Canaan is from Ham, right? And that's a cut to all you Christians who don't know the Bible. He sent them away. In the morning time, they left to go back to where they were. And this is all a ploy from Joseph so he can reunite his family. And when they were gone out of this city, they left the city, right? And not yet far off, meaning they weren't too far. They were, it doesn't say exactly how far they were, but they weren't too far. It was just further enough that the men could catch up with them. Salakia. And not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, up and follow after the men. Joseph told his steward, go follow after these men. Because again, this is Joseph's plan, right? Joseph, he could foresee things. Joseph would have, listen, Salakia, I would love to play a game of chess against Joseph. Lord allow. Whoever Joseph's spirit is, if it was reincarnated and sent back into this world, I'd love to play a game of chess with him. Listen, he can foresee things. Good night. If you don't know about chess, chess is an excellent game of war, of strategy, of seeing things 10 steps ahead, right? And when they were gone out of the city and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, up, follow after the men. And when they doest over, Salakia, and when thou doest overtake them, say unto them, wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? Meaning, Joseph did something good for them and they rewarded them with evil. That is the spirit of the Caucasian man. Right now, I'm not saying these brothers are Caucasian. The Bible is a Black, Hispanic, and Native American book, right? But when you do something good for someone and then they reward you with evil, well, that is what the so-called oppressor did to the brothers and sisters in the South Americas, in the Americas, and in North America. The so-called Gadites and the rest of the tribes from the Northern Kingdom, right? Or the so-called Native Americans who are Gadites and the rest of the tribes outside of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? They seen Caucasians, and this is how Caucasians tell the story. This is how you know who the devil is. Our oppressor is a straight up devil, right? Caucasians will tell you the story of, oh yeah, they helped us during the harsh winters and during the times when we had no food, taught us to fish, taught us everything, and then we slaughtered them, right? And these Egyptians are saying to these men, wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? Meaning Joseph did good to you and you did evil. Now, again, these men did not do evil in this situation, though they did evil against Joseph before. This is, again, Joseph's plan to reunite his family, right? Verse 5, is not this it? Right? Meaning they're searching now. They search these men for the silver cup, which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed, Salakia, and whereby indeed he divideth, ye have done evil in doing so. Right? So he's saying, like, listen, the Lord, the person above us, Joseph, did good to you. You guys chose to do evil by stealing his cup. They did not steal the cup. These men had the cup that Joseph told his men, his stewards, to put in their sacks. Verse 6, and he overtook them, and he spake unto them these same words, and they, right, so the stewards overtook the men, and they spoke the words of Joseph, because that's what Joseph told them to say, right? And they said unto him, wherefore saith my Lord these words? For God forbid that thy servants should do according to this thing. Meaning they're copping a plea right now. It's like, you know, when a and listen, a lot of brothers have gone through this, especially if you're in the city of Toronto, where the people in uniform, the police uniform damn near is like a Klansman's uniform in the city of Toronto, from 31 Division, 55 Division, 32 Division, all the divisions. It's damn near like a Klansman's uniform. And there's been times, countless times, you know how many innocent brothers are in jail? Right? The police couldn't catch them selling dope, even though these brothers were selling dope. It's a horrible thing to do, but they couldn't catch them, so they just planted the dope on them. You could just look it up on YouTube. Countless police officers in many cities are doing this, where they can't find nothing on you. They plant some weed in your car so they can have a reason to search it. They plant some illicit drugs in your car so they can have a reason to search it. Right?
The police. There was a story in 1990 when you had a mob of Edomites, right? A mob of oppressors who were throwing stones at the Gadites in Canada. You had a mob of like 200 Edomites just throwing stones, like damn near boulders, at the natives. And you had about 50 cops just standing by doing nothing, just watching it happen. They may as well been throwing the boulders themselves. You know what I mean? Like if they're not the Klan, good night. Like, I don't know who is. Shoot.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Listen, Dave the Viking, we are not crediting KRS-One for nothing because he stands with child abusers. He said we should not talk about African Bambaataa because he's the forefather of hip hop. No one gives a damn about that. KRS-One stands with child abusers. We don't, right? King Yolo says, what's he say? Dave the Viking says everyone descends from Africans in the law, right? Africans descend from Africans, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans that you hate. We descend from a man named Shem, who down his bloodline had a son by the name of Jacob, who wrestled an angel and was given the name Israel because a blessing from the Lord is the greatest thing you'll ever get. Right now, we're going to get back to what we're talking about. God forbid that thy servants should do according to this thing, right? Meaning police, listen, as I was saying, brothers have said that before, where the police says, we found this dope in your car. There's a little bit of weed shake in your car. And you're like, nah, that's not mine. What the hell are you talking about? We didn't do that. That's what these brothers are going through. They're copping a plea right now. They're saying we didn't do that. They're pleading and saying, nah, we did not do that, right? I'm going to have Officer Sharyuan continue to read. He's going to read verse 8 to 14 in the Hebrew. Then we're going to break it down and read it in the English. This is a tradition that we do in the ISUPK where we read the actual Hebrew. For those of you Christians will never read the Hebrew. They will just go with what their heart feels. They'll say, listen, you can eat all the pork you want. We read the Hebrew and we read in it where it said not to eat pork. And that's what we do. Viking, yeah, that's what KRS-One said, man. You could just go look it up, man. We do not stand with any child abusers. Listen, Canada should be lucky that I'm not in charge, because child abusers, listen, they would be buried up to their neck, and I can't say the rest because TikTok will cancel my live, right? But in Christ's kingdom, there won't be anybody abusing children, because that is a horrible crime. Listen, you know who has more of a conscience than the Canadian government? Brothers and sisters in jail. You cannot go into jail and say you're a child abuser and be, I'm innocent till proven guilty. Nah, once you step on that range and your charge is what it is, you're guilty. That's it, period. You're guilty. And you are going to feel the wrath of the Lord in that moment. And it's going to be horrible. Salakia. Sharyuan, can you read 8 to 14?
Okay. So look at Genesis chapter 44, verse 8 in the Hebrew. Han, Masap, Ashar, Matazah, Anwa, Bapaya, Amath, Kafaya, Nawa, Asha, Yabanwa, Alayam, Ma'arataza, Mana, Mana'ain, Wa'a, Yam, Naga, Naba, Mabaya, Salakia, Mabaya, Salakia, Mabaya, Adan, Yama, Masa, Awa, Zahab, verse 9, Ashar, Yama, Tazaa, Athwa, Ma'ai, Bada, Yama, Wamath, Wagam, Ana, Kanawa, Nahaya, La Danya, La Ibad, Slakia, La Ibadium. Verse 10. Waya Amar, Gam, Aitha, Mada, Bara, Yamam, Man, Hawa, Ashar, Yama, Tazaa, Athwa, Yahaya, Laya, Ibad, Wa'atham, Thahad, Yawa, Nakwayam, verse 11. Waya, Mahabawa, Waya, Waya, Slakia, Waya, Waradwa, Ayash, Ama, Thaka, Thawa, Ratazaa, Haya, Slakia, Waya, Kawa, Ayash, Amath, Kathawa, verse 12. Waya Kapash, Slakia, Waya Kapash, Baga, the wall, Hakal, Waba, Kwata, Slakia, Waba Kwata Na, Mala, Wayama Tazaa, Ha Gabaya, Bahamath, Kaf, Banyam, Na, verse 13. Wayakwa, Raiwa, Shamalathma, Waya, Aima, Ayash, Al, Ka, Marab, Slakia, Kamarwa, Wayashabwa, Ha'ai, Yara, verse 14. Wayaba'a, Yahawada, Wa'a, Kayawa, Bayatha, Yawasap, Wahawa'a, Wadanwa, Sham, Waya, Palawa, Lapanyawa, Arataza. That's the end of verse 14.
No sweat. All right, so I'm going to read 14 to 21, and we're going to break it down. Again, listen, this is an excellent story. This is an excellent story in the Bible that brothers and sisters should read, right? Because it's going to teach you how to forgive your brothers and sisters. Like, what are we killing each other in our communities for? Over what? Over what? Like, over money? because a brother can't forgive each other. Like, I heard a story, and there's a story that's going around, right? I think it was sometime around New Year's. There was a sister or a woman. I can't tell if it was a Hamite or not yet. I haven't found out. From what I'm hearing, it's a sister. She was unalive. Somebody pulled a firearm on her, and she was unalive, standing outside of a club in Mississauga, not too far away from the police. And this is just to let you know, there's a police station right down from this club. The Mississauga police, they put out a advisory to the public about this club, and yet still they knew a party was happening there and they didn't have police there. She was unalive. They're saying it was another sister or another woman that unalived her. And when I first heard this story, I said, these brothers need to learn how to shoot. Salaki, I'm not saying shoot is right. I'm saying, listen, how comes you guys are still shooting firearms and not hitting who you're supposed to hit? Come to find out, everybody in the streets is saying it was a woman that unalived this woman. Over what? What were they fighting over? Rod? They were, listen, if y'all don't know why this is pure speculation, right? Y'all don't know why Kelsey shot Meg Thee Stallion in her foot. It was over Rod. Y'all need to learn how to forgive each other. Salakia. So I'm going to keep reading. This is Genesis 44 and 14. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house. Salakia. No, Salakia. We read 8. Salakia. This is Genesis 44 and 8. Behold, the money which ye found in our sacks, mouths, we brought again unto thee. We brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of thy Lord's house silver or gold? So they're saying, these brothers are pleading. They're trying to be like, listen, we brought the money back to y'all. Y'all made a mistake and put the money back in our sacks, and we brought it back. Why would we go to Joseph's house to steal silver or gold? Verse 9, with whomsoever of thy servants it be found, both let him die. Good night. Now listen, Judah, he's boastful. He's boasting in this one, right? He's saying, they're saying, we didn't do this, and whoever took or stole, let him die. Because they're saying confidently, we did not steal. Right? Because remember, they're saying y'all stole, the stewards are saying y'all stole the cup. They're saying y'all stole the cup, and they're saying we didn't steal it. If you go through our sacks and find it, whoever you found it, let him die. Joseph set this up. Don't forget that part. That is important. Joseph set this up. Salakia, where are we? And we also will be my Lord's bondmen. They're saying we will be Joseph's servant. They do not know this is Joseph. They're saying if you find the cup, whoever has it shall die, and the rest of us will be the servants of Joseph. Again, Joseph he's setting this up because he wants to see his father, right? Hold up, I got something for you. Someone said we are the Black KKK. Well, just let us know who we killed. And for now, you can hold that. Right? We steal out of, how then should we steal? Oh, we read that. Verse 10. Genesis 44 and verse 10. And he said, now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. Right? Verse 11. And when they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground and opened every man his sack. So they're saying, listen, whoever did this, we're going to be your servants. And the steward said, all right, whoever did this is going to be our servants, right? So every man's taking down their sack because they're confident they did not take anything. They did it quickly. You know, it's like when it's like when police stop you in the streets and they're like, do you have a weapon? And you're like, I don't have no weapon. Why are you stopping me? They're like, you fit the description of some made up crime. Every brother always fits the description. Like, no matter where you go in the city of Toronto, if there's a crime that happened, even when a crime didn't happen, the crime can say the man was tall yet short, fat but skinny, wearing a white t-shirt that is black. Good night, Shariwan. He had dreads and a clean fade, Shariwan. He had a beard with a shaven face, Shariwan. And the brothers are like, nah, F that. He pulls up his shirt. He pulls up his whole shirt, Shariwan. I do not have a firearm. That's what these men are doing. They're saying, listen, we didn't do that. Right? Salakia. Where are we? 12, verse 12. Genesis 44 and verse 12. And he searched and began at the eldest. They started with the eldest brother and left at the youngest. And then they went to Benjamin's sack and searched. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Again, this is a ploy from Joseph. Joseph was a wise brother. He knew exactly how to get you. They brought Benjamin, the youngest brother, and he said, listen, we're keeping Benjamin. You're going to have to go get your father. Verse 13. Then they rent their clothes. Listen, these brothers are renting their clothes. Now, last Sabbath, we read how they're renting their clothes because Israel, who was formerly by the name of Jacob, did not want to send his youngest son because he had a son that he loved, that he made a wonderful coat for, full of colors. The brothers, Judah conspired against him, right, to sell him into slavery, and they told their father he was unalived by some beast. A beast took his life, and then Jacob, who is Israel, he mourned several weeks and cried and was just moping around throughout the land of Canaan where they dwelt. Now, again, this is not saying that Joseph, Salakia, that Jacob is a Canaanite, right? They just dwelled in the land. Like myself, I am a so-called Canadian, but really I'm priest and officer 1000 Zabaja, Ban Banyamyan, right? I'm a son of Benjamin, son of Israel. I just live in the land of Canada at this moment. Where are we? And Judah and his brethren. Oh, 1 second. Verse 13. And they rent their clothes and laded every man his ass, right? And returned to the city. Meaning they rent their clothes because now they have to go answer for this crime, right? They have to answer for this crime. They jumped on their donkeys and went back to the city. Verse 14, and Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house. Again, they're in Joseph's house because now they have to answer for the crime, right? Even though they didn't commit a crime, Joseph is just doing this to see his family. For he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. Right now, it's like when you know you're going to be judged for something and you want to beg for forgiveness, right? You have to remember, Jacob did not want to send Benjamin at all. Judah even said Jacob could unalive his own sons, right? So we're going to read again in the Hebrew from 15 to 21, and then we're going to break this down some more. Like, again, they did not want to have a misfortune, have a mess up, because Benjamin said he's going to be blamed for anything that happened. Salakia. Judah said he's going to be blamed for anything that has to do with any trouble coming to Benjamin. He even offered his own son's life to be taken. Right, and you could read that in the previous chapter. So we're going to read it again and find out what exactly is going to happen. Shariwan, Baba Kashar, can you read 15 to 21?
Come. So Genesis chapter 44, verse 15 in the Hebrew. YAHANNA, Laham, Y-A-S-U-P, Ma, Hama Aish, Haya, Ashar, Aisha, Yatham, Halawa'a, Yada Itham, Maya, Nakash, Yanakash, Ayash, Ashar, Mamanya, verse 16, Waya Amar, Yahawada, Ma, Naamar, La Danya, Ma, Nadabar, Wama, Nataza, Tadak, Ha Alahayim, Mataza'a, Slakia, Mataza'a, Af, Iwan, Ibadayim, Ha Nanawa, Ibadium, La Danya, Lam, Anak Nawa, Gam, Ashar, Na Mataza'a, Hagar, Bayai, Bayadwa, verse 17, Waya Amar, Kala Yala, Loya, Ma'aishwa, Ya'af, Slakia, Ha Ayash, Ashar, Na Mataza'a, Ha Gabayai, Bayadwa, Awa'a, Yaya, Laya, Ibad, Wa'atham, Ilawa, Lasha, Lawam, All, Abaya, Mama, verse 18, Wayagash, Al Yawa, Yahawada, Waya Amar, Baya, Adanya, Yadabar, Na'a, Ibadam, Dabar, Ba'azan, Ya Adanya, Wa'al, Yakar, Apam, Ba'ai, Badam, Maya, Mama, Wama, Mapa, Ra'ai. Verse 18, Adanya, Sha'al, Ath, Ibad, Yawa, La'amar, Hayash, Lamam, Abba, Awa, Akar, verse 20, Wana Amar, Adanya, Yasha, Lanawa, Abba, Zakwan, Wayala, Zakwan, Salakia, Zaquanium, Quatan, Wakayawa, Math, Waya, Wathara, Hawa'a, Labadwa, La'a, Mawa, Wa'a, Bayawa, Ahabawa. Verse 21. Watha Amar, all, Ibadium, Hawaba, the Hawa, Alya, Wa'a, Shaya, Maha, Aya, Naya, Al Yawa. That's the end of verse 21.
Hey, no sweat. Throughout a show you on. We're going to read verse 15 to 21 in the English. This is Genesis 44, verse 15 to 21. And Joseph said unto them, what deed is this that ye have done? He's questioning them like, listen, what have you done? Why have you done this? What deed, right? A deed is something that you do. They say good deeds. They say bad deeds, right? They say this is something that you've done. That's what a deed is. And he's saying, why did you do this? Wot ye not that such a man as I certainly divine, right? So he's basically saying, like, what, did you not think that a man like me wouldn't see or wouldn't know that you did this, right? That's what he's saying, right? He's playing the game with them right now, Salakia, because he's charged them with a crime. And in that, he's saying, are you not thinking that a man like me would understand or would not recognize that you guys have trespassed against me? Verse 16 in Genesis 44. And Judah said, what shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? And they're saying, what do we have to do to clear our names? Right? How do we clear our names of the crime that you're charging us with? Salakia. Where are we? God has found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also with whom the cup is found. Right? So they're trying to make it seem a ways right now, like we're their servants, right? Salakia. Where are we? And he also, this is verse 17, and he said, God forbid that I should do so. And Joseph, because Joseph is just, he's saying, listen, I don't want all you guys as my servants. I just want the one who the cup was found. And this is a terrible saying to Judah, because Judah is going to have to bear the burden or the blame for Benjamin not coming home. Judah is going to have to speak to his father and say, listen, I told you nothing was going to happen to your son. I said this. I told you nothing was going to happen. I even said you could take my son's lives if something does happen. And Joseph is saying, I don't want all of you. I just want the person who's called. That's crazy. That is, again, because Judah, it's like even reading this, when I first read this, I'm like, damn, does Joseph know that Judah said this to the father? Right? Or is it just Joseph is just because the Lord is with Joseph? Again, this is one thing you have to understand. The men of the Lord, everything we do is because of the Lord. We don't move on our own accord. Even when it seems like we are moving on our own accord, it's not. The Lord is setting things up, and the Lord is telling us what to say. The Lord is telling us how to move. Right? He shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. He's telling them, listen, as far as you, get you up in peace, meaning get out of here. I'm not going to do nothing to you. I just want Benjamin. Now get out of here and go to your father. And Judah does not want to hear that. That's like, good night. That's like a death sentence for Judah. Because now, after Judah conspired to sell Joseph to heathens, right? Judah then told his father, I'm going to take care and protect Benjamin. And now he has to go, he's being told to go home without Benjamin. And his father says, surely I'm going to die. Verse 18, Genesis 44, verse 18. Then Judah came near unto him, and he went up to Joseph and said, "Oh my Lord," he's pleading. Like, imagine someone's handing you a sentence and you go and you drop to their feet and you're pleading now, right? You see it in movies all the time where something happens and the person drops down to their knees and starts grabbing onto the person's feet, right? Or they just get closer so you could see them. And he's pleading. Judah's about to start pleading. "Oh my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ears, and let not thine anger burn against thy servant." He's extra humble. Like, he wasn't humble when he sold his brother. When he conspired to sell his brother into slavery, he was not humble then. He's humble now. A horrible thing could happen to you and make you humble. This is something y'all got to understand, right? If anything you take away from this, be careful what you do to and say to your brothers and sisters, and be humble about it. Be extremely humble about it, because a terrible situation will make you humble. There's brothers who will boast. Like, when I was in the world, I knew brothers who would boast about their cars. Right. They boast about their cars and then crash that car. And now the person they were boasting at is watching them as they're in an accident. Like, "Oh shit, you crashed your car, my nigga." Like, I thought that was your life. Like, the car. Like, look at my car. It's the best car in the block. And now you crashed that shit. Right? You got to be extremely humble. You don't want the Lord to humble you. That's one thing for sure. You do not want the Lord to humble you. You want to just be humble yourself. Do not give the Lord reason to humble you. "For thou art even as Pharaoh." He's saying, listen, you are just like Pharaoh, right? He's trying to appease to him. He's trying to appease to him and make him feel some type of flattery, right? This is Pharaoh's number 2, and he's saying, listen, you're just like the number 1 guy, right? He's saying LeBron is just like Michael Jordan. Don't take me to counsel. Man, listen, brothers will fight and argue about that for days. He's saying LeBron is just like Kobe. We can talk about it after the Sabbath if you want to. We could definitely talk about it after the Sabbath service if you want to. You go to a high holy day or a UPK event. You want to see your brothers just a little longer. Your brother's like, "I'm going home. I have work in the morning." Jordan is the GOAT. Now that brother's there for an extra 2 hours. You got to call in to work. Yeah. But that's what he's doing. He's appeasing him. He's telling him, you are just like Pharaoh. Right? Verse 19. "My Lord asked his servants, saying, Have ye a father or a brother?" And now he's trying to not really guilt trip him, but he's saying, listen, this is what you asked for. You asked us if we had a father or a brother, right? "And we said unto my Lord, we have a father, an old man." He's saying, listen, we have a father and our father is old. "And the child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead." He's listen, sometimes the Lord will humble you and make you just reveal all the things. Now you have to go back and talk about the brother. He doesn't know if his brother's dead, but he lied and said, listen to his father and said the brother was dead. He's standing in front of the brother that's dead right now. We're going to get into this in a moment. "And he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him." Right? Now, again, this is you have to remember, Jacob had 4 women and had about 13, 12, he had 12 sons out of 4 women, right? That's a cut to you Christians who don't understand the Bible, right? The Lord's chosen nation came out of one man with 4 women And it's happening. It's been happening. This is a way of life. Listen, you don't need 4 women. You don't even need 1 woman. You don't have to have a woman. You can just focus on the work of the Lord. Now, I've never met a brother with no woman, but I've met brothers with 1, and I've met brothers with 4+ women. Salakia. Let's keep reading. And he also is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. Verse 21. And thou saidest unto thy servant, bring him down unto me. Listen, they were talking way too much. They didn't have to say anything about their father. They didn't have to say anything about their brother, right? But again, this is of the Lord. That's what you have to understand, right? This is of the Lord. That I may set my eyes upon him. Because these brothers, when they were first in Egypt trying to get some food, they were pleading. Joseph was saying, nah, you guys are spies. He's like, damn, my brothers are in here, but you guys are spies. Because Joseph was a good chess master, right? He was a good thinker. He was a good, he's seeing things before men seen them, right? You ask what is going on here. This is a I.S.U.P.K. Toronto and Montreal Sabbath service. We're reading a story about brotherhood and how Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans can forgive each other instead of doing drive-bys and unaliving innocent people in their neighborhood. Instead of having group wars, instead of firing firearms and swinging swords at each other. This is a story of how we can forgive each other, right? Because in the city of Toronto, the Toronto police are securing the Jewish neighborhoods, meaning Caucasian neighborhoods, they're securing. They put a field command truck in these neighborhoods where the businesses are and by their schools, while the neighborhoods that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are, where actual violence is happening. There's no command trucks, there's no police. They only come after a brother is unalived. Now, again, we're not asking for police, but it just goes to show you that we don't even get police when we need it, right? So again, this is a story of brotherhood that every Black, Hispanic, and Native American person should read and understand and be told and given the breakdown to, because it helps us forgive each other. And we need forgiveness. You want your neighborhood to be better, well, forgive each other. Don't let me hear you say, I'm a good Christian under the blood of Jesus. What the hell does that mean? And you won't forgive your brother and sister. Right? You don't want to forgive your brother and sister, but you want God to forgive you for your filthy sins because you are a sinner at heart. So that's what's going on here. Again, verse 21. Thou saidest unto thy servants, bring him down unto me that I may set my eyes upon him. So they're saying, listen, you said to bring him down here. You said he's basically trying to countercharge him. He's so okay. How do you say Shariwan when you're trying to state your cause? You're trying to state your argument. Yeah, he's trying to rebuttal. He's trying to rebuttal. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to say, listen, and he's trying to do this also. He could basically take the place of Benjamin, right? We're gonna read that in the up and coming verses. So can I get Officer Shariwan? Can you read in Genesis 44, 22 to 28.
Come. So Genesis chapter 44, verse 22 in the Hebrew. Wana, Amar, Al, Adanya, La'a, Yawamal, Hana'aiba, La'ai, La'ayab, Ath, Abayawa, Wa'izab, Ath, Abba Yawa, Wamath, verse 23. Watha Amar, Al, Ibad, Yam, La'a, Yarad, Aka, Akaya, Mama, Hakwatan, a thumb, ma, la'a. Thasap, wana, lara, awath. Panya, verse 24. Wayahaya, maya, al yanawa, all. Ibad, ma, abaya. Wa, nagad, lawa, ath. Ibaria, Adanya, verse 25. Wa Ya'amar, Abayanwa, Salakia, Abaya Nawa, Shabawa, Shabarwa, Lanwa, Ma'aita, Amal, verse 26. Wana Amar, La'a, Nawamal, Larad, Tha, Yash, Aka, Yanawa, Hata, it's like it, Hakwa, Tana, Athanwa, Wayara, Danawa, Maya, La'a, Nawama, Lara'awa, Panya, Ha, Ayash, Wa'a, Kayanawa, Ha, Kwatan, Ayana, Nawa, Athanwa, verse 27. Waya Amar, Ibad, Ma, Abaya, Slakia, Abaya, Alaya, Nawa, Atham, Yada Aith, Ma, Maya, Mana, Yama, Yalad, Ha, Laya, Asha, Ya, verse 28. Wa, Ya, Taza'a, Ha, Kad, Ma, Athia, Wa Amar, Tarap, Wala'a, Raya, Thayawa, Aid, Hana. That's the end of verse 28.
All right, so I'm going to read 22 in the English, break it down as we read to 28. This is Genesis 44 and 22. And we said unto my Lord, the lad cannot leave his father. Again, he's pleading. He's trying to make sure that Benjamin gets home. Because if not, he has to answer to his father. For if he should leave his father would die. Verse 23. And thou saidest unto thy servants, except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. He basically said, I don't even care. Listen, you bring your youngest brother if you want to see me again, if you're trying to get some food. Right? Listen, I'm looking at these comments, right? And some of these comments, I'm going to just take this a second to address this, right? Y'all are saying we're in costume. This garment looks fly as hell. And I guarantee you, it looks better than the nakedness you allow your women to walk outside in. Some of y'all be walking outside in them tight pants and having your women with their ass cheeks out. Good night. You want to talk about our garments. But carrying on. And thou saidest unto thy servants, except your youngest brother come down with you, you shall see my face no more. So he's pleading, listen, you said to bring my youngest brother. Now you want to keep him. Verse 24, and it came to pass when we came up unto thy servant, my father, we told him the words of my Lord. And you're saying, we told our father this, right? We told him what you told us. Verse 25. And our father said, go again and buy us a little food. This is the second year of a famine that's happening throughout the land of Canaan, throughout the land of Egypt, right? There's 5 more years of famine to come. That's what Joseph seen in a vision. That's what he told Pharaoh to get out of jail. Hold up. Right? Where were we? And it came to pass when we came up unto thy servant, my father, we told him the words of my Lord. 25. And our father said, go again and buy us a little food. Verse 26. And we said, we cannot go down. And they basically said to their father, like, listen, we got the food. We can't go back down there right now. Right? The father's telling them to go again. Joseph said, you can't come back down here and see me unless you have your little brother. They're about to explain this to their father. And we said, we cannot go down if our youngest brother be with. We cannot go down if our youngest brother be with us. Then we will go down, for we may not see the man's face except our youngest brother be with us. So they're explaining to their father the situation, and he's just reiterating what the conversation was with their father. And thy servant, my father, said unto us, ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons, right? One was Joseph and one was Benjamin. And that's what the father is telling them. Verse 28. And the one went out from me, he's talking about Joseph, and I said, surely he is torn in pieces. Because they told their father that after they sold him, Joseph was torn into pieces by a beast of the field. Right? Because they were provoking to jealousy. Joseph was a little immature. There's a way you got to speak, right? You got to, even if you are right, you got to always understand that brotherhood comes first. Just because you're right doesn't mean you boast. Like I could be right about something, and I'm not going to boast about it to Shariwan. Like, I'm right and you're wrong, Shariwan. That's not brotherhood. I could be damn right about it. But I'm going to show my brother brotherhood, right? I could be wrong about a situation, and depending on what the situation is, right? Out of brotherhood, I'm just going to be like, Shariwan, you got it. What are we talking about? What are we going to end this brotherhood because I'm wrong or I'm right about a situation? It's not that deep. It's not that serious. What's the most important thing is this brotherhood. Straight up. Like, we built a brotherhood in Canada. We'll show you how to make your neighborhoods not violent. We'll show you how to raise a family. A lot of y'all don't know how to do that. Y'all don't know how to serve God. Y'all don't know how to just be humble. I keep harping on that word humble because a lot of y'all don't know how to do that. Y'all jump in these comments and y'all just say anything. I guarantee you, if something happens to you, you are going to pray to the Lord that he be with you. Let some doctor tell you you got to go through surgery tonight and you might not make it. You're going to be on your knees praying to the Lord. You'll be humble then. Don't find out that you have to be humble to the Lord. Right? What I'm saying is, don't find out in the worst way. It's easy right now. I'm telling you right now, it's easy to be humble. I did it. Shoyuan did it. Adiyar did it. Barakiala did it. Those are my brothers. Right? Or you could just find out the hard way. I'm a Benjamite, meaning I'm a Jamaican. We have a saying, who don't hear must feel. Do not find out that you have to feel. It's bad when you have to feel. You could just hear what I'm saying and go with it. Or you could find out the hard way. Who don't hear must feel. Where were we, Shaywan? I think we just read. We were reading 28. I'm gonna read 28 one more time. And one went out from me, and I said, surely he is torn to pieces, and I saw him not since. That's the conversation they're saying to Joseph that they had with their father. Listen, their father didn't want to let Benjamin go on the journey, on the adventure. Lest pre-adventure something horrible happens, like what happened to Joseph. Even though nothing really happened to Joseph outside of he went into slavery for a time being. I'm saying like he wasn't torn to pieces by a beast like the brothers lied to their father and said. Right? But Joseph mourned for a long time. Now his other son from his woman, this woman bore him two sons, and they're about to go back and tell their father, listen, the second son that you had with this sister, he's not with us right now. He's in Egypt. He's in a dungeon somewhere. Good night. That is horrible. Show you one again. We're going to read in the Hebrew from verse 29 in Genesis 40, in Genesis 44 to Genesis 45, verse 1. Right? Show you one. Can you read Genesis 40 and 29, Baba Kasha, to Genesis 45, verse 1?
Come on. Book of Genesis, chapter 44, verse 29 in the Hebrew. Walakwa, Katham, Lam, Atha, Zaha, Ma'ain, Panya, Wakwa, Rahawa, Asawan, Asawan, Waha, Warad, Thum, Shayab, Thaya, Bara'ai, Sha'al, Ha, verse 30, Wa'ai, Ha, Maba, Aya, La'al, Ibad, Ma, Abaya, Wahan, Ira, Ayan, Noah, Athanwa, Wana, Shawa, Kwasha, Waraha, Bana, Shawa, verse 31, Wahaya, Mara, Awaf, Wa, Maya, Ayan, Hanaira, Wamath, Waha, Wara, Yadawa, Ibad, Yam, Af, Shayabath, Ibad, Ma, Abad, Yanawa, Baya, Gawan, Ma, Shala, verse 32, Maya, Ibad, Ma, Ira, Af, Hanaira, Ma'ain, Abaya, La'amar, La'a, Abaya, Abaya Nawa, Alayam, Wakwata, Thaya, La'ab, Ya, Ma, Hayam, Hayam, Yam, verse 33, Wa'aitha, Yashab, Na'a, Ibad, Ma, Thakath, Hana, Ira, Ibad, La'a, Danya, Wahan, Ira, Ya'al, Ain, Akayawa, verse 34, Maya, Ayam, A'ila, Al, Abaya, Waha, Na'ira, Aya, Nawa, Afya, Pan, Ara'aha, Bara'ai, Ashar, Yam Tazah, Ath, Abayah, Genesis 45 and verse 1. Wala'ah, Yamal, Yawasap, Laha, Tha'apa, Kwa, Lamal, Hana, Tazah, Bayam, Al, Yawa, it's like an Al Yawa, Waya, Kwa, Ra'ah, Hawa, Tazah, Yahwa, Mal, Ayash, Ma'al, Yah, Wala'ah, Ahmad, Ayash, Athwa, Baha, Thawad, Yawasa, all, Akar, Yawa. That's the end of verse 1.
Throughout, Officer Shariwan. We're going to read Genesis 44, verse 29 to Genesis 45, verse 1 in the English, and I'm going to give you that breakdown. Let's see what these comments are saying. Hey, while y'all are on the TikTok watching, just tap that like button. If you feel like you have to send us some galaxies or some money machines, you could do that too. If it's better for you to send a money machine instead of a like, you could do that too, right? But we're going to continue reading again. All right, so this is Genesis 44 and verse 29. And if ye take this also from me, and mischief befall him, ye shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. This is Jacob speaking to his sons, right? Saying, listen, don't take my son from me. And if anything happens to my son, I'm going to die. Surely I'm going to die. Like you took my firstborn and I was mourning. Now I'm a little older. You take the next Salakia, not my firstborn, but you took my other son. And if I was mourning when that happened, if anything happens to this one, I'm going to die. Gray hairs are going to go in the grave. This is like, Jacob Israel was an old man in this time, right? And anybody who's a parent or anybody who has someone they love could understand what it's like to lose a loved one. You're going to lose a loved one and then good night. Like you're just going to be mourning. Some people never get out of that mourning phase. They just mourn every year when they lose someone. And I get it. It's hard. You're going to need counsel. You contact the I.S.U.P.K, get some counsel. We'll teach you how to not mourn. A lot of times people just mourn and mourn and mourn because of some loved one they lost, right? The loved one doesn't want you mourning like that. They want you to live your life. You got to live your life. Jacob's saying, if you take my son and pre-adventure mischief befalls him, I'm going into the grave. I'm going to die. He's going to be so distraught, he dies. The science calls this, there's a term for that actually. Scientists say it's like you die of heartache. That's what people say in the world say. They say, listen, you could die of heartache. They call it natural causes, but it's just you were so stressed out that you gave up the ghost and died of heartache. Verse 30. Now therefore, when I come to thy servant, my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, meaning he is so wrapped up in this little boy's life that if he doesn't see this boy come back, he is going to perish. 31. It shall come to pass. That was Judah speaking to Joseph. It shall come to pass when he seeth that the lad is not with us, that he will die. And thy servant shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant, our father, with sorrow to the grave, meaning he's going to give up the ghost because of a broken heart, because of sorrow, because of something that he couldn't perceive happening. Because it's for him, it's something that, listen, it's just a horrible thing. My other son is gone. I lost 2 sons to this woman that I loved, or this woman that I was with. I can't live no more. That's how Joseph is saying. A lot of people act like that. Listen, I just can't go on because I lost someone. When you gotta be strong. There's a time for mourning. And after that time period, you gotta be strong. Listen, my mother passed. I think I was a 500. I was a 500 when my mother passed. And I called my officer, the man above me, Officer Bond, right away. Like, Salakia, sir, I'm distraught. Now, I wasn't crying on the phone. I did that while no one seen. No one seen my tears, right? I did that earlier. My mother passed and I got up and went to work, right? Called a bond. He gave me counsel. He said, take some time off, mourn for your loss. And then when you're ready, put on your garment and get back to this work. And that's what I did. And now I'm still here, still working. The work doesn't stop. If I just give up, who's going to help the city of Toronto? Who's going to help my brother, Officer Sharyuan? Who's going to help Adiyar and Barak Ya'ala out in Montreal? Because I gave up. Jacob was saying, listen, I'm ready to give up if my son don't come back. Let's get back into this. Where are we? 32, for thy servant became surety for the lad unto my father. Judah saying, listen, I became the surety. I became the one that said he's going to ensure that Benjamin comes back without a hair missing on his head. Saying, if I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father. I'll give you a perfect example. I might go outside and say, I'm going to the mall. Sharyuan, I'm taking one of your youngins with you. Let me take one of the boys with me, Sharyuan. And if anything happens, it's on me. That's the judgment. If anything happens to that young man, that young warrior, who one day I want to hear his camp speaking, it's going to be on my head. Let the sword fall on my neck. That's what Judah said to his father. I'm going to keep reading. Where are we? Bear with me a moment. Then I shall bear the blame unto my father forever. Verse 33, Genesis 44, verse 33. Now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad. He pleaded. He like, my nigga, come on, take me. Let's see. In this moment, he has brotherhood. Now, you can speculate it's because he doesn't want to bear the blame, but in this moment, that is brotherhood. It's like when we say, if one of us have to go, me and Sharyuan are going to argue about who's going. And it's not going to argue like you have to go. It's going to be like, la, sir, you cannot go. Nah, stand the hell down. I'm going. La, sir. Listen, if there was ever a fist fight, it would be about who is sacrificing who. Sharyuan, you cannot. I might have to push Sharyuan out the way. The sword swinging. I'm like, get out of here, Sharyuan.
You the higher rank. You got more to say than I do.
Damn, it's crazy. Right? Where are we? Therefore, I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my Lord, and let the lad go up with his brethren. Verse 44, for how shall I go up to my father and the lad not be with me, lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come to my father? And he's basically, listen, this is going to start tugging on the heartstrings of Joseph. This is going to make Joseph all emotional in a second. He's saying, listen, I cannot, there was never Joseph was in a pit, and Judah was the one leading the conspiracy to sell Joseph for 20 pieces of silver. 20 pieces of silver. And he's hearing this, and he's hearing his brothers conspire to sell him into slavery to some heathens. They could have did horrible things to him. They could have did absolutely horrible things to him. They didn't have brotherhood. And in this moment, they're having brotherhood for Joseph's younger brother of the same mother. This is chapter Genesis 45, verse 1. Then Joseph could not refrain himself, meaning he could not stop it. When you can't refrain yourself, you cannot stop it. You can't compose yourself. He had no composure in this moment. That was a lot to hear. Like, you got to put yourself in Joseph's shoes for a second. So many bad things happened to him. He was in the dungeon, right? And now he's the viceroy. That was the word I was looking for earlier, Shaiwan. Now he's the viceroy in Egypt. Right? He could not, Joseph and Salakia, let's start again. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all of them that stood by him. There's Egyptians in there, his brothers are in there, in Joseph's house. He could not refrain himself. He's all emotional now. Listen, brothers and sisters, there's a time to cry. There's nothing wrong with crying. You got to cry. Don't let men see you cry if you're a man. You sisters, y'all try to stop them tears. Save them for a real moment. That's something my mom used to say to me. She used to say, don't cry. Bottle them up. You're going to need them for later. I understand now what she means. Don't cry if you cannot. Just don't. You men, don't cry in front of other men. Be strong. We already have enough weak men. You got Drake wearing clips in his hair, painting their nails. We have enough weak brothers already. Commander General YAHANNA said you're going to see all these men start coming out. A lot of black people start coming out on the internet and start tearing down other black people because that's the most entertaining thing you can see. And look, you see it. You see it. Look at all the interviews going out now. Stephen A. talking about Jason Whitlock. That brother who, there's a brother that's funny, man. This is a funny brother. He got a bunch of ribs, a bunch of kids. He used to deal with Just Hilarious. Now he's out on an interview with a brother, Shannon Sharp, Shannon Sharp, I don't know what's going on with him. I think Shannon Sharp got a little sugar in his tank. I think Shannon Sharp got sugar in his tank for sure. You see the brother Courtney Wayne on Shannon Sharp just tearing down brothers now. Good night. Commander General YAHANNA said you're going to see that. That was a prophecy. Didn't take too long for that prophecy to come through. That one came through fast, right? If you got to cry, go in the shower, turn on the water and cry. So don't do it in front of me. I'm going to tell you to fix up. Yo, fix up. Don't do that around here. Go cry in the shower, right? Go around the corner and cry. And dry your eyes, lotion your face, and come back and stand strong. That Joseph couldn't contain himself in this moment. Cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. Meaning he kicked out all the heathens out of his house. He kicked out all the heathen out of his house, right? And only his brothers were there while he was weak in that moment. And he revealed himself to his brothers, saying, listen, it's me. I'm the one you're talking about, the one you sold into slavery, right? Again, Gloria, I'm saying, if you got to cry, go do it somewhere privately. That's what I'm saying, right? Listen, Gloria, this right here is air. You might not understand that. Good night. You say you're still crying, though. After I said go cry somewhere privately. That's what you got to do. Again, this between my hands is air. Like stating the obvious. Shariwan, can you read verse 2 to verse 9?
Come.
Read verse 2 to verse 8, Salakia.
Come. So Genesis chapter 45 and verse 2 in the Hebrew. Wayathan, Ath, Kwalawa, Babama, Ya, Wayash, Ma'aiwa, Matazar, Yam, Wayash, Ma'ai, Bayath, Bara, Iha, verse 3. Waya Amar, Yawa, it's like it, Yawasap, All, Aka, Yawa, Anya, Yawasap, Ha'aiwad, Abaya, Kaya. Wala'a, Yama, Lawa, Aka, Yawa, La'ai, Nawath, Athawa, Maya, Naba, Halawa, Mapa, Na Yawa, verse 4. Waya Amar, Yawasap, All, Akayawa, Gashawa, Na'a, Alya, Waya, Gashwa, Waya Amar, Anya, Yawasap, Akar, Yama, Ashar, Mama, Ratham, Athya, Matazar, Yama. Verse 5. Wa'itha, All, Tha'ai, Tazabawa, Wa'al, Yakar, Ba'ayan, Yamam, Maya, Mama, Ratham, Athya, Hana, Maya, Lama, Kaya, Shalak, Naya, Alahayam, Lapanya, Mama, verse 6. Mayaza, Shanath, Yam, Hara'aib, Bakwa Rabah, Harataza, Wa'aiwad, Kamash, Manyam, Ashar, Ayan, Karayash, Wakwataza Ya, verse 7. Waya, Shalak, Naya, Alahayim, Lapanya Mama, Lashawam, Lamam, Sharayath, Barataza, Walaha, Kayawath, Lamam, Lapa, Layataha, Gadolha, verse 8. Wa'aitha, La'a, Atham, Shalak, Tham, Athya, Hana, Maya, Ha'alahayim, Wayasha, Ya Manya, La'aba, Lapa, Ra'ai, Wala Ada, Wana, Lamal, Bayathawa, Wama Shala, Bamal, Arad, Salakia, Arataza, Matazarium. That's the end of verse 8.
God, Most High in Christ, sure you want. All right, let's get back to it. So we're going to read now Genesis 45, verse 2 to verse 8. And he wept loud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. Right, so he was weeping loud. Everyone heard him weeping. Right. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doeth my father yet live? So he's revealing himself now. He revealed himself to his brethren. And he's asking, does Israel still alive? Is he alive right now? Is Yashar Allah still alive, my pops? Right? He hasn't seen his pops in a minute. So he's asking this question. And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. You know what that's like? Listen, that's like, it's like one of those movies, right? Where the person does something, the protagonist does something to someone, and then ends up down the road having to go to the victim of the crime that he committed. And now he's seeing the victim is actually okay. So he went to the victim. The victim is now in disguise. The victim reveals himself, and all the protagonists, all the men who did the evil to him, are like, they're frozen. They don't know what to say. They can't say anything. They're just shocked. They're embarrassed. Right now, these men are embarrassed. They're in shock. They're troubled because they don't understand. Like, damn, what the hell was that? What just happened? Wait, I thought we. How could? Aren't you? That's what they're going through. It's a horrible feeling that these people have to go through right now. Our forefathers have to go through right now, right? They're at trouble at heart right now because of the crime they committed against Joseph, right? They sold him. Now they told everyone Joseph died. They probably had a ceremony for him, some type of mourning period, right? Had to lie and fake the funk. They were faking the funk at that memorial service. Like, damn, he's gone. Oh my gosh. Like, nah, y'all are liars. Y'all know what you did, right? And Joseph said unto his brethren, come near me, I pray you. And they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. He's saying, come over here. I'm the one you sold into Egypt. Verse 5. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves. He's saying, don't even sweat it. Don't be angry at yourselves. Right? He's saying, don't sweat it. Don't be angry at yourselves. It's not your fault. Where are we? That ye sold me hither, right? For God did send me before you to preserve life. Now, if you remember, a few chapters before, Joseph's having these visions where he's going to be raised above his family members. That was the Lord telling him that he's going to be in Egypt, right? Joseph is in a place right now to help his brethren. Right? Joseph is in a place right now to help his brethren. The Lord did this, right? Listen, when I got the breakdown of this, I watched Officer 5000 Ashar out of headquarters, Ashar Gapan. He gave this excellent breakdown. And I'm going to say it like this. There was a bunch of trauma I went through in my life, specifically myself, Officer Zabaja. A lot of trauma. I've seen men unalived. I've seen brothers tragically injured and their whole life is changed before them. I had gun violence befall me about a bunch of times, way more times than I can count. And I always wondered, after every time I would wake up in the hospital on that morphine drip, why am I still alive? What the hell is going on? Nah, 1 second. I was supposed to die a second ago. It's 2024. In 2008, I was wondering, how comes that bullet didn't, is there a reason I'm supposed to, I didn't know the answer yet. It wouldn't be for a while that I got the answer. These are things I'm asking myself in 2008. It wouldn't be until 2017, almost 2019, that I get the answer. It's 2024 now. I got the answer. I found the answer and I ran right to the counsel I was given. And now you don't have whatever my name was, that evil name. You don't have the man who was for lack of better words, a curse in the city of Toronto. Now you have the gift of the Lord, Zabadia. And I used to wonder why? Like, what is this? What is the meaning of this? What do I do here? Right? What do I do next? What's the next step? Where do I go from here? Well, Joseph is saying the same thing that these brothers are asking themselves, right? All the things that are horrible that happen to us in our life push us towards the truth. All the evil that befell me in my life pushed me towards this truth. Pushed me to this beautiful garment I got on. You see this garment right now? I.S.U.P.K collection. You see this crown, this headpiece from Shapat Thayak out of DC? all of that stuff happened to me so I could rock this headpiece that you're seeing right now. So I could do this Sabbath service that you're watching right now. Right? That's what happened. Hold up. I got something for you. There you go. Right? That's what Joseph is telling his brethren. Is don't be angry at yourself. You trespassed against me. I could have you hung. I could have your neck off your shoulders right now. I could have you in the dungeon. I could have you doing Lord knows what. But don't be angry with yourself. Where are we? For therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourself that ye sold me hither. For God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years has the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in which there shall be neither be airing nor harvest. Meaning, listen, there's 5 more years of famine to go. This is only the second year. Y'all sold me into slavery. The Lord did that. The Lord made that happen so I could come and be here. So I could save the land of Canaan, all our brethren, all our family, all our cousins, all your little children, your Judah, your 2 sons that you wanted to sack, that you said you would give up if anything happened to Benjamin. You sold me into slavery so I could come and feed them. They ate last month because of me. That's what he's saying. All right. So listen, all the bad things that are happening in your life, don't think that it's just happening for no reason. Listen, bad things are going to continue to happen if you are in sin, but it's going to push you towards this truth. Horrible things happen to myself, right? Maybe I might write a book, make a movie one day about my life. It'll be a blockbuster. Might have to get Denzel to play me. So yeah, we get Denzel to play me as an old man. Good night. Oh man, Salakia. Don't take me to counsel. Or you can take me to counsel. Listen, counsel is good. If you have an issue, go to him and take him to counsel. If you have to take me to counsel, take me to counsel. Salakia. What are we saying now? Where are we? Verse 7. God sent me before you to preserve you in prosperity in the earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now, by a great deliverance. Let's say, read verse 8. That's what I said. Yeah, 2-8. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God, and he has made me father to Pharaoh, and Lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. He's saying, the Lord set this up. I told you I was going to be over you, and y'all were jealous. Again, you got to be humble, man. There's a way you can say things. So I outrank Sharyuan, but there is a way that I talk to my brother, right? There is a way. I just don't say any and anything, because Sharyuan does not belong to me. Sharyuan belongs to the Most High. Christ is over Sharyuan, and he's over me as well. And he charged me, right, under commanding General YAHANNA, to be kind to my brother, to be wise. Just don't say anything. And if Sharyuan feels away, he's going to talk to me. And if I don't hear him, he's going to take me to counsel, which is his every right to do. Right? What time is it? Yeah, we got some more time. We could finish this last 8, this last 7. We're up on the 2 hours. You know what? We're going to leave it right there for now. We're going to leave it right there. Next Sabbath service, we'll start at Genesis 45 and verse 9. Right? We'll start at 45 and verse 9, and we'll continue. Right? So again, you got to be humble to your brothers and sisters. Don't just be jealous. Watch what you say. You should always, I'm going to tell you something. This is something you got to know, right? This is a true story, actually. I'm going to give you a true story. Show you why confession is good for the soul. Remember, the old me was horrible. It was horrible. I used to take my anger out on a lot of people. I was in high school taking my anger out on a young brother. And this brother, to me, he was, listen, we would go back and forth, but I would take it overboard, right? I would absolutely take it overboard. I'm known to take things overboard. So I advise you not to step to us and cross the line at camp. Just might throw a whole camp sign at you. You might see a floor sign just coming through the air. I was thinking it like a frisbee. It's going. Take your whole neck off. Be in front of Commander General YAHANNA from the jail cell on a video call. Salakia said, I did it. I don't know. I guess I'll just raise the yard up over here for the next 25 years. Good night. But I took it overboard. Years later, high school is done. I have a job in UPS. And who is my supervisor?
Good night.
Good night. This man stuck me in the 50-foot truck on the hottest day. But he did that the one time. He might have did that twice. And after that, the brother was very kind to me. Good. And it was very humbling. Watch what you say and do to people. You might go to an employment one day and that person is over you. And you're like, how comes I can't get a raise? I've been working. And you have to just remember to that time, you are not humble to that man or that sister, right? You might need a lawyer one day and it's the sister you used to bully or the person you cut off. You know, you're trying to get the parking spot and it's a fight, but you weren't humble enough. Like a lot of situations happen. Just be humble. You might be talking to a brother down the street. Or a brother down the street, and you're just unhumble, and it's really an angel. You don't know the angels come as men too. And you're not gonna understand. Just go back and read the story of Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah, and you'll understand. Angels come as men, and you might think that's just a regular man. Really, it's an angel. He's about to give a report, or he might just tap you on the shoulder, and now your spirit is going with him back up to where your fathers sleep. So be very, very humble. That's it, period. With that said, I'm Priest and Officer 1000 Zabaja of the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA. Right. We're about to close out this Sabbath service. TikTok, I'm about to shut it off on you. Hey, man, tap that light screen. We'll be back on live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got a scripture breakdown class. I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but it's going to be good. You can come and ask all your questions. If you say the wrong thing, I'm going to block you. You've been warned, right? Shalom. That's for TikTok. Shalom. We're ending the live. YouTube, Facebook, all the brothers and sisters watching on YouTube, Facebook. I'm Majam, which means to stand. Sarpan Yahakwadam, which means turn and face the east. What do you need? This? You need the charger? Okay. Turn and face the east. Salakia, we're going to end this Sabbath service with the Lord's prayers. Go in real quick. This is the Lord's Prayer. You can find it in Matthew 6, verses 8 to 13. Abanawa. Shabashamayam. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakwafka. Sabbath. Ratazaka. Hayah. I.S.U.P.K. Bashamayam. Salakia. Baratazam. Kawa. Hayah. Bashamayam. Lathun Lanawa. Lakam. Ka. Yawam. Wasalak Lanawa. Kawaf Nawa. Kasalak Nawa. Kawaf Yanawa. Wala'ah. Thabaya Nawa. Banasayawan. Abal. Hawashai Nawa. Mayan. Right. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Waha Allah. Wahatha Pa'arath. La'ai Walamyam. Aman.
What we said in English. Our Father which art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Yahweh. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever so be it. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim. Al Damaya. Al Damaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Altha Karash.
Altha Karash.
Wa'al. Thashakwat.
Thashakwat.
Al. Kaya. Hana.
Hana.
Awayabyaka.
Awayabyaka.
Yaha. Maya. Yawan.
Yahama Yawan.
Wama Shana Yaka.
Wama Shana Yaka.
Nasha'awa.
Nasha'awa.
Ra'ash. Al Amakawa. Salaki. Al Amaka.
Al Amaka.
Ya'ari Yamwa.
Yari Yamwa.
Sawad.
Sawad.
Waya.
Waya.
Thaya.
Thaya.
Aitazawa.
Aitazawa.
Altazapawan.
Altazapawan.
Yaka.
Yaka.
Amarwa.
Marwa.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanakakya Yadam.
Wanakakya Yadam.
Magaya.
Magaya.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yazakar.
Yazakar.
Sham Yasharala.
Sham Yasharala.
Iwad.
Iwad.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Nawa Aitazawa.
Nawa Aitazawa.
Lab.
Lab.
Yakadwa.
Yakadwa.
Al Yaka.
Al Yaka.
Baryath.
Baryath.
Yakarathwa.
Yakarathwa.
Ahawya.
Ahaya.
Adawam.
Adawam.
Wa.
Wa.
Yashamai.
Yashamai.
Alayam.
Alayam.
Mawa'aba.
Mawa'aba.
Wahagarian.
Wahagarian.
Gabal.
Gabal.
Waimawan.
Waimawan.
Waimawan. Salaki. Waimalak.
Waimalak.
Palashat.
Palashat.
I'm Yashabia.
I'm Yashabia.
Tazawar.
Tazawar.
Gam Ashawar.
Gam Ashawar.
Nalawa.
Nalawa.
Imam.
Imam.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Zarawai.
Zarawai.
Labanya Lawat.
Labanya Lawat.
Salah.
Salah.
I.S.H.A.L.A.M.
I.S.H.A.L.A.M.
Kamadian.
Kamadian.
Kasaya Sara'a.
Kasaya Sara'a.
Kayabian.
Kayabian.
Banakar.
Banakar.
Salaki. Kwayashwan.
Kwayashwan.
Nashamad.
Nashamad.
Wa.
Wa.
Bayan.
Bayan.
Dara.
Dara.
Hayawa.
Hayawa.
Daman.
Daman.
La'adama.
La'adama.
Shayathamwa.
Shayathamwa.
Nada Yab Mawa.
Nada Yab Mawa.
Kairab.
Kairab.
Wakazaba.
Wakazaba.
Wakazabak.
Wakazabak.
Wakatazalmanai.
Wakatazalmanai.
Ka. Nasaya Kamwa.
Nasaya Kamwa.
Ashar.
Ashar.
Amarwa.
Amarwa.
Nara Ashwa. Salaki. Nara Asha.
Nayarasha.
Lanawa.
Lanawa.
Ath. Nawath.
Nawath.
Alahayam.
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 Shayathamwa.
Shayathamwa.
Kagalga'a.
Kagalgala.
Kakwash.
Kakwash.
Lapanya Rakah.
Lapanya Rakah.
Ka'ash.
Ka'ash.
Thaba'ira.
Thaba'ira.
Ya'ira.
Ya'ira.
Waka Lahaba.
Wakalahaba.
Thalahat.
Thalahat.
Haryam.
Haryam.
Khan.
Khan.
Tharadatma.
Tharadatma.
Vasa'iraka.
Vasa'iraka.
Waba.
Waba.
Sawapathka.
Sawapathka.
Thabalah. Salaki. Thabahalam.
Thabahalam.
Mala'a.
Mala'a.
Panyaham.
Panyaham.
Kwalawan.
Kwalawan.
Wayabakwashwa.
Wayabakwashwa.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yabashwa.
Yabashwa.
Waya.
Waya.
Bahawa.
Bahawa.
Ayda'ay.
Ayda'ay.
Waya.
Waya.
Kaparwa.
Kaparwa.
Waya Abadwa.
Waya Abadwa.
Waya.
Waya.
Da'aywa.
Da'aywa.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Atha.
Atha.
Shamka Yahweh.
Shamka Yahweh.
Labadka.
Labadka.
Al-Yawan.
Al-Yawan.
Al-Ka.
Al-Ka.
Ha'aratiza.
Ha'aratiza. What we said in English. Keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
Be not still, O God.
And be not still, O God.
For
lo,
thine enemies make a tumult.
Thine enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Taking crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
Come,
and let us cut them off from being a nation.
And let us cut them off from being a nation.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
They have For they have consulted together with one consent.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
Of Moab.
Of Moab.
And the Hagarenes.
And the Hagarenes.
Of Baal.
Of Gabal.
And Ammon.
And Hammon.
And Amalek.
And Amalek.
The Philistines.
The Philistines.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur also is joined with them.
Ashar also is joined with
They
them.
have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera.
As to Sisera.
As to Jabin.
As to
At the
Jabin.
brook of Kison.
At the brook of Kison.
Which perished at Endor.
Which perished at Endor.
Became as dung for the earth.
Which came as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
And like Zeb.
And like Zeb. Yea.
All their princes as Zabah.
As their princes as Zabah.
And as Almunah.
And as Almunah.
Who said,
Let
us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession.
Let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the fire burneth the wood.
As the fire burneth the wood.
And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest.
So persecute them with thy tempest.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy
name.
O
Lord.
O Lord.
Let them be confounded and troubled forever.
Let them be confounded and troubled forever.
Yea.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame and perish.
Let them be put to shame and perish.
That men may know that thou.
That men may know that thou.
Whose name alone is Yahweh.
Whose name alone is Yahweh.
Art the most high over all the earth.
Art the most high over all the earth. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah.
Asha'ah.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
Ahahayim.
Ahahayim.
Ma'ayan.
Ma'ayan.
Yaba'ah.
Yaba'ah.
Isaiah.
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 Ma'ayin.
Ma'ayin.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Shamayam.
Shamayam.
Ma'aratazah.
Ma'aratazah.
Ayathan.
Ayathan.
Amawat.
Amawat.
Regalka.
Galka.
Al-Yanawam.
Al-Yanawam.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Ana.
Ana.
La'ah. Yanawam.
Yanawam.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yashan.
Yashan.
Shalmah.
Shalmah.
Yasha'ala.
Yasharala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tzalka.
Tzalka.
Al-Yad.
Al-Yad.
Yamyanka.
Yamyanka.
Yawmam.
Yawmam.
Hashamash.
Hashamash.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yakaka.
Yakaka.
Wairak.
Wairak.
Bala Yala.
Allah Yallah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamarka.
Yashamarka.
Makalrai.
Korai.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Atnapashka.
Atnapashka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Taza'athka.
Taza'athka.
Wabawa'aka.
Wabawa'aka.
Ma'aitha.
Ma'aitha.
Wa'aid Iwalam.
Wa'aid Awalam. What we said in English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills.
I will lift up my eyes unto the
From whence
hills.
cometh my help?
From whence cometh my
My
help?
help cometh from the Lord.
My help cometh from the
Which
Lord,
made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and
He will
earth.
not suffer thy foot to be moved.
You will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor
The
sleep.
Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy
The
keeper.
Lord is thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
Lord is thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by
nor
day,
the moon by night.
nor the moon by
The
night.
Lord shall preserve thee from all
The
evil.
Lord shall preserve thee from all
He shall
evil.
preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy
The
soul.
Lord shall preserve thy going out
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming
from
in
this time forth,
from this time forth
even forevermore.
and even forevermore. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'asham,
Ba'asham,
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
Barak Lanawa,
Barak Lanawa,
Wayasha'ala,
Yasharala,
Waha,
Waha,
Vaya,
Vaya,
Saparium,
Saparium,
Ba'asham,
Ba'asham,
Yahushua,
Yahushua.
Tawada Aman. That was bless Israel.
What we said in English, Lord, in the name of Yahushua,
Lord, in the name of Yahushua,
bless us
bless us
and Israel
and Israel
and
and the school.
in the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua,
Thank you, so be it.
thank you, so be it. Hakak, the prayer for power structure. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'asham,
Ba'asham,
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
Babakashah,
Babakashah,
Nathan Lanawa,
Nathan Lanaw,
Hakak,
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 Larapa'ah,
Larapa'ah,
Kalmakala,
Kal Makala,
Ukal Marawa,
Kal Madawa,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Latahar,
Latahar,
Hamatazariah,
Hamatazariah,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Laha,
Laha,
Kwayam,
Kwayam,
Hamathayam,
Hamathayam,
Hakak,
Hakak,
Arakawa,
Arakawa,
Hatama'ala,
Hatama'ala,
Lagarashan,
Lagarshan,
Ba'asham,
Ba'asham,
Yahushua,
Yahushua,
Tawada Aman.
Tawada Aman. What we said in English, Lord, in the name of Yahushua,
Lord, in the name of Yahushua,
please give us the power.
please give us the power,
Power to heal all manner of sickness,
power to heal all manner of
and
sickness,
all manner of disease,
and all manner of disease,
power to cleanse the lepers,
power to cleanse the leper,
power to raise the dead,
power to raise the dead,
power against unclean spirits,
the power against unclean
to
spirits,
cast them out
to cast them
in
out.
the name of
In the
Yahushua.
name of Yahushua,
Thank you, so be it.
thank you, so be it. Prayer for power structure. Barakatha Yahweh.
Barakatha Yahweh.
Wa Yahushua.
Wa Yahushua.
Wa Mayak Ka'ala.
Wa Mayaka Allah.
Wa Alahayim.
Wa Alahayim.
Matazayabia.
Matazabia.
Alawap Yohanna.
Alawap Yahanna.
Ha Alawapian.
Ha Alawapian.
Ha Saranyam.
Ha Saranyam.
Ha Quatazayanyam.
Ha Quatazayanyam.
Haka Yayalyam.
Ha Yayalyam.
Ha Aquathiam.
Ha Aquathiam.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Washa. Yahushua. Tawada Aman.
What we said in English, bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahushua.
And Yahushua.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Commanding General Yahanna.
Commanding General Yahanna.
The generals.
The generals.
The captains.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh in the name of Yahushua.
Yahweh in the name of Yahushua.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it. Akim, Salakia to the men above me, Akim and Aquathian, Sar, you may be seated. Class dismissed.